nobody really knew, none of us really knew what we were doing.
Really, we were in uncharted ground at that time.
It's kind of amazing. It was literally the ground floor of gaming in the state of Missouri.
We walked into Mark Twain up at the shopping center where Bass Pro is right now. We said we're here for the job, and they said, well, come on in, what do you know? And we told them a little bit about the electrical we know, and they said, you're hired.
And those first few months were just absolutely hectic.
We started going to class in October of '93, and they told us we would only have 6 weeks of class. We had 9 months of class because we didn't start until May.
When they were going to first open in the fall of '93, the vote didn't go through. And the boat was ready to go, just like you would see the casino now.
So we were limited to having craps, blackjack, and video poker.
And they said, well, guess what? You got 48 hours to get all those slot machines, the games of chance, out of state.
And it took a long time before those restrictions finally eased.
Well, when we opened, we just had a riverboat.
The boat itself was very tight, very confined.
It was always full tables right at the beginning. It was insane.
I mean, crazy would be an understatement.
We had to help loading all the coin onto the boat.
Everybody said, start over in the corner, left corner, and stack a roll of them in here, and just stack them all the way across. And about the 6th truckload or 7th truckload of coins, and the boat started making all kinds of funny noises. The boat captain come across and
He
said,
was
stop.
freaking out.
The boat was
starting to capsize,
List.
just go, tilt, because we had way too much coin on one side of the boat. That was interesting.
very much
When
so.
that started tilting as much as it did there.
The boat cruised every 2 hours.
We'd get stuck in sandbars and be out on the river longer than we were supposed to be.
People would, be like, oh my God, are we gonna sink? And we just had to reassure them that they weren't.
When we had a riverboat, and we also had a barge casino, and the river level got real low, it's where they had to dredge underneath the river floor so we could still float. And there was a time to where we were hitting the bottom of the river and we were crooked.
I could actually take a chip, set it on my table, let it go, and it would roll across the table.
All I remember about us transferring money from boat 1 to boat 2, the cart just got away from us and it was too heavy and it went plop into the Missouri River. Never to be seen again.
The flood of '95 was interesting for people that worked here during that time.
Our parking was severely limited.
We used to have to park over at the family arena to bus us in.
And the guests couldn't get to the ramps to walk in, so we went to the quarry and had dump trucks nonstop. And we were raising the parking lot with gravel. And eventually the guests were picking up their pants legs and walking, getting their feet wet, walking through water to get into the casino. They wouldn't stop coming.
And over the PA system, they kept calling out a vehicle that was out in the lower parking lot. And each time that they would call it out, they would say, the water is touching your tires. The water is up to the bottom of the door. And when it got up to the middle of the door, I started laughing, and the gentleman goes, what's so funny? And I said, some poor guy's got his car sitting out in the parking lot. The water's up to the middle of the door. And he's like, well, what kind of car is it? And I explained it to him, and he was like, oh my God, that's my car. And took off running.
They had to make the hard business decision of closing the casino.
But they didn't want to stop construction or anything on the boat, so
They used to actually have a duck, which was an old military amphibious boat with wheels. And that's how some of the people who were maintaining the boat had to get back and forth.
Finally, the river receded enough to where we could move the boat from our normal location down to Frontier Park. And they came back and embraced us like you wouldn't believe. It was extraordinary.
I think we operated dockside for probably about 5-6 years. Yeah. They decided to bring in the current facility that we're in right now.
Once we moved into the new facility, the building of the hotel.
They built a display room for
the team members to be able to walk through to see what was actually going to happen in the hotel. It was like walking into a TV set.
Then when they finally got rid of the loss limit,
That made the casino really go boom.
And it helped the entire state and the casinos to grow to what, you know, it is today.
If you'd have told me 25 years ago that I would be in the same place, at the same job, doing the same thing, I would have told you were crazy. But I really am having a hard time trying to decide whether to retire or not.
there's very rarely a day that comes along where, you know, where in the back of my mind I'm trying to tell myself, I really don't want to go into work today.
Well, over 25 years, obviously, you know, you build a lot of friendships.
Everybody got along and we helped each other out.
It's just my second family.
Knowing that you've touched somebody's life in a small way, I think makes a difference to the other team members, because I know they've touched mine in many ways.
When I was nominated by one team member of the month, walked into the casino and a lot of the dealers all started clapping, and it meant a lot.
This is the fourth time I've worked for a different company at the same place. Every single time we've changed hands, it's gotten better.
If you didn't like the people you work for, you'd have had a difficult time making it 25 plus years.
This is the best path I could have ever taken.
I get to play games, and these people are silly enough to pay me for it. How much better does it get than that?